All right, today I want to talk to you about my family life when you're looking for healing, how the people that you spend time with impacts your healing, impacts your health, impacts your mental health, impacts your physical health. And I just want to open up and share with you my healing story and what I'm still dealing with right now. Because a lot of the time, people, and me included, we just focus on all of the physical aspects of healing and getting better. Maybe even the energetic, maybe you're doing yoga, maybe you've tried all kinds of different supplements and diets, exercise regimens, meditation, calming of the mind, but maybe you've forgotten how healing love is, how healing people can be, and how influential our thoughts, beliefs, perceptions towards each other influences every single part of who we are. I underestimated this for a very long time. See, when I was sick, it was hard for people to deal with me. You know, I was grouchy, I was antisocial, I was sullen, I was very depressed, and I was living with my parents. I had to move back in with my parents. And it was rough on all of us. And it was frustrating for all of us. You know, I would be so frustrated. Sometimes I would just be like hitting my bed in my room, just like so frustrated and exhausted. And so it was hard on my mom. It was hard on my dad. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to do. And we would have friction. And when you're healing, when you're trying to get better, that drama does not help at all. It's actually so detrimental. It's so bad for your health. Even being around my mom, sometimes I would feel her resentment of me. And it was so hard because what I wanted, what I really needed was compassion and mercy and someone to talk to and someone to understand and empathize with what I was going through, not someone to judge me, to kind of like sneer at me. And so for a very long time, I'm talking months and months, I just felt neglected. I just felt kind of disliked, like I was a burden or something. And that really doesn't help, because when you're trying to heal, you need support. You need people to understand and be there for you. You need like a 12-step group, really. People who understand what you're going through, who can hear you out, who can not judge you, who can just listen and be there and sit with you in your struggle. And I felt like I didn't have that. I had the opposite. My dad was a little bit more supportive. My dad would go on walks with me. He would make suggestions. He was a great listener. So that helped a lot. That really, really helped a lot. And so, especially when you're sick, I realized it's important to analyze the social setting that you're in. If you have support from ministers or a church group or a small group, if you have even an online group, all this makes a very big difference, especially if it's in person. You see, I joined online support groups, and that's better than nothing for sure. But what's even more powerful is the love and support that you get from people in person, because you can feel the warmth of their energy. It's kind of like when you're having Thanksgiving dinner, that intangible feeling, or when you're having a birthday, that feeling that you get when you just feel like there's unity, when you feel like there's love in the air. You just feel like everyone is there for each other. And that's very healing, it's very nourishing. And everybody intuitively knows this. And by the way, getting out into nature is an excellent way to clear your energy. And I feel like I need that today, because even currently in my life right now, I'm still figuring out the family dynamics. You see, because as I was sick, I neglected certain things that I could have been doing. I could have been with my sister. She just had a 1-year-old. And so for a year and a half, I was kind of absent. And I mean, we talked about it once. And I just said, hey, look, I really wish that I was able to be there, but I was sick. And secretly, deep down, I secretly wished that she was more there for me. She didn't call me once. She didn't come to see me once, even though she knew I was severely ill. So it was on both sides. And so I have to deal with that on the inside of me, make sure that I'm not bullshitting and pushing that down and pretending like I don't feel anything about that. Intuitively, I don't feel like I hold that against her. Really, I don't. Even just feeling when I say that, I can feel how honest that was. I don't feel like I hold it against her. Maybe there's a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of an understanding of like, like, I don't know, it kind of makes me feel like she doesn't care as much because she didn't come to see me and she didn't call me. And so that's there. That's definitely there. And these are all the unspoken things that your family, your friends, that people are really thinking. And so what I'm saying is it impacts you a lot. So there's a couple things that you can do. You can either talk about it and try to clear the air and figure it out. But if that doesn't work, you can't, what I learned is you can't force people to change. You can't force people to have good opinions of you. And this is obvious, right? You know it, but a lot of people, they hold on to that desire for approval from other people, especially if you're constantly seeing them. And so that's a huge problem, because then you're going to be trying to change them. You're going to be trying to prove it to somebody. And so I fell into that trap enough. I know that I can't change people. All I can do is either distance myself from them or just love on them. But you have to be in a strong place to be able to do that, right? And you have to know how to do that. From a distance, you can do that. It's not like you just become a doormat and spend time with people who disrespect you, don't believe in you, resent you, have negative thoughts about you, and you can kind of just feel this. You know who I'm talking about. When you're with people, you can feel their energy towards you. You can feel their attitude, and I've learned to distance myself and limit the amount of time that I spend with people who don't have good regard, positive regard towards me. And I also learned, like with my sister, it's good to try to have that crucial conversation and just say, hey, like, I kind of feel like there's something in the air between us, and so I kind of just want to open the gates of communication and see how we're feeling about each other, because a lot of stuff happened, and I want to see if we can clear up any misunderstandings, miscommunications, and bring about more of a sense of harmony and goodwill towards each other. Because look, we're siblings, or you could say we're friends, and it's really important for me for us to have harmony together and goodwill, because that's medicine. Goodwill and love is medicine, and I want to be there for you, and I want us to have a good relationship. And so simple things like that, it's really important to either, how you doing, have those conversations so that you could open it up and clear it up. And depending on how that goes, you can move forward and choose how much time you're going to spend with this person. But it's been really interesting too, because sometimes I had to apologize. Like, I had to apologize to my brother for being the judgmental one. I had to start out by apologizing for people that I put burdens on them because when I was sick. And not that you have to apologize for it, but more of like a gratitude, right? An acknowledgement, like, hey, I acknowledge that this has been hard on you too, and I'm thankful that you were there for me in whatever capacity you were able to. See how they respond. So that's really what I've been thinking about a lot, and this also applies to like my friends. Like, we all have friends who there's always a little bit of friction, and it could be from anything. And when that friction happens, sometimes people have a hard time letting it go and really forgiving. and they kind of like have this grudge towards you. They won't really admit it because, most people are too prideful to admit that they have a grudge. They'll act like they're fine, but you can kind of feel it because they don't have goodwill, and that shows up in so many ways. And so, I've been thinking a lot about this because we all make little mistakes, and it's only healthy to remain with the people who can, forgive and just move on, not hold that against you, right? And so what becomes toxic is when you hang out with people who will hold that against you and kind of identify you with that, and sometimes even bring it up, call you by that, say like, oh, you always forget, or like, oh, you don't care. When you start to notice that they're like identifying you with it, that's toxic. You gotta be with people who can let go, who can forgive, who can move on, who can believe in you still, even if you mess up. Because look, everybody messes up, and if anybody has that judgmental attitude, that's toxic towards the person, that's toxic towards you and the person. Holding on to resentments and grudges and being judgmental and seeing the splinter on other people's eye, that's bad for them and it's bad for you. And so if you sense that you're around people that do that to you, you gotta bring it up in a calm and graceful way, and then based on how they respond, you can decide if you want to spend time with them anymore, or how much time to spend with them anymore. This is, it's so cliche. People hear it all the time, but, it doesn't matter how many times you heard it or if you think you know it. It matters if you're doing it. It matters if you're practicing it. It matters if you've meditated on this, scanned your life constantly, and are constantly searching inside yourself. Am I doing this towards other people? Are other people doing this towards me? Where am I in the wrong? Where are they holding this against me? And how do I move forward if they're doing this to me? You see? So there's a lot of nuances here. And, another thing that I learned on the topic of not trying to change people is when I tried to change or like bring it up towards my friends, I wasn't the most tactful because I honestly had a little bit of like hurt still that they were holding things against me, and I was angry at them for doing that. And so the question becomes like, all right, well, how do I communicate this without it making things worse? Well, sometimes you gotta just, this is what I learned, sometimes I had to just look at myself and see if I was capable of having that conversation without releasing negativity and anger towards them. And if I really wasn't, then maybe I'd get like a third person to mediate, or I just write them a letter so that I can control how I say things. Because that's important too. You gotta, Crucial Conversations, one of the greatest books of all time, talking about how to have these conversations that hold a lot of weight and emotions run high. How to have these conversations. One of the best things in that book is it says you start with heart, and you have to keep your goal in your mind from the beginning, right? So the hardest thing about having these tough conversations sometimes is that your emotions run high and it distracts you from your original goal. Maybe your original goal was to make things better so that you can be friends, but then you start remembering what they said, what they did, they're being stubborn, they're defending themselves, they're still kind of like pointing the finger at you, and then you get triggered and things get worse. And then it gets into a fight and you're trying to win instead of, just trying to make things better for both you. And so that's why you gotta understand where you're at, and if you're capable of having that level of maturity conversation with them. And if not, there's things that you can do. Like sometimes I'd write letters, I'd write emails, I write texts, and I make it very thought out. And that way your emotions don't get in the way. That way you don't make it more toxic. And so that strategy is really, really straightforward and safe, and can really set the stage for a healthier conversation moving forward. But there's more to be said about how you can handle these conflicts and these situations. So important note here to mention is that you can't expect them to change. You have to just put the ball in their court and see what they do. It's interesting. It's kind of like a heavy topic, even just thinking about it now. So, it can definitely be heavy, even just thinking about it. I feel like I'm processing and kind of like releasing a little bit. Yeah, you can't always change people, but what I'm practicing is distancing, and then you can love them from a distance. You can pray for them. You can pray inside your own heart and have visualizations and imaginations of them doing well. And one of the hardest things to practice, but the most powerful and beneficial, is actually practicing loving them from a distance, whether it's in your imagination, in your thoughts, in your prayers. Jesus said, love your enemies. And by doing so, pray for those who harm you and hate you, and do good to those who despise you. And when you do that, the book of Proverbs says, when you do good to those who hate you, and when you help those and give food to those who have hurt you, you heap coals of hot ashes on their conscience. Because you're giving love for hate. And that is one of the most beautiful things. It's so redemptive. It's so redemptive. It reminds me of the most beautiful sentiments in the shows that I used to watch as a kid. Naruto. He would always have a way to like care about his enemies as he fought them. You know, he's looking out for their better well-being. He's trying to show them a better way. He never falls into just hating them or abandoning them. He's always thinking, there's hope for this person. I'm never going to give up on this person. Even if I'm not friends with this person, deep down, I'm not going to turn my back on them and curse them internally. And he was always the one who would say, you're better than that in so many ways. He'd say, you're better than this. Wake the hell up. You're better than this. You're made for something better than this. And keep that goodwill alive. You know, it's not that you can force them to change. It's just that he has such a strong spirit that he was able to keep that goodwill alive inside himself and not fall into internal hatred, because that corrupts you and it corrupts them even more. In Naruto, they call that the cycle of pain, where some pain happens, that person falls into some kind of negativity towards another person, they fight more, and that cycle of negativity and that cycle of pain and hatred continues on for generations and generations. It can turn into clan disputes, family disputes. It hardens the characters and the hearts of the people who ever harbor that, and it closes them off to real life, real friendship, real beauty. The hatred just it decreases people in their potential. It makes them into criminals and thieves and bullies, and makes people cynical, and it closes off all the beauty in life. And so in Naruto, it shows this in so many different ways. Such a beautiful depiction of what happens between different clans and how they hold hardships and conflicts against each other. And you know, just thinking about it, it's so true. It's so hard hitting, the power to, like, you know, still look out for people, to still give them gifts, to still hold that goodwill. It's a challenge. I'm saying, you know, this is a nuanced topic, and you're gonna have to think a lot with me about this so that there's not misunderstandings, right? Because I'm not saying you stay with someone who's abusive. I'm not saying that you give grace and completely forget about what people have said or done to you verbally, physically. Hear what I'm saying. Like I said, you gotta know how to physically distance yourself. You gotta know who is good for you, who's not good for you. But on the inside, it's also important to just look at what's happening inside you. Are you filled with resentment still? Are you filled with hurt and pain still? Are you filled with hatred and revenge? Feelings of paying back the pain that they gave you with pain towards them, or the disrespect that they give you with disrespect for them? Do you want to like pay it back to them in a bad way? That corrupts. That hurts you. That's not medicine. You gotta get that out. So I realized the desire to get that out, the desire to have goodwill towards that person is the first step. The first step a lot of times is actually to admit that you have hatred, you have anger, you have frustration towards that person. And you have to admit that, and you have to say, I admit that I have these feelings, I'm ready to let go, I'm ready to change, I'm ready to transform it. I'm done with it. I understand that it's not for me, it's not good for me, it's not good for them. I don't want any more of it. I'm ready to move on. And then you go and get help. You go to the worship services. You listen to the music. You pray, you meditate. You have to get that energy outside of you, because it's gonna sit in your stomach, it's gonna sit in your chest, and it's gonna make you feel weak. It's gonna steal your energy. And it's a subconscious thing. You don't even realize that it's there. But people can sense it. People can sense that you kind of have pain. People can sense that you're holding on to some trauma. People can sense when you're holding on to, they can sense who you are. They can sense how much love you have. They can sense if you're wounded. People can all sense it. It's subconscious. But you know when you're around someone who's nourished. And you know when you're looking at or talking to somebody who has healing to do still. And it's okay to have a lot of healing to do still. We all do. It's called being human. We all have a lot growing to do. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You can admit if you had hatred. You don't have to act like you're the spiritual person all the time. Don't have this spiritual ego that prevents you from admitting what you're really feeling. Don't judge yourself for what you're really feeling. Just let it move through you. It doesn't define you. It's actually just an energy that you have to purge. But don't suppress it. Don't repress it is what I mean. So suppression and repression is an interesting topic, because repression is pretending like you aren't what you really are. It's like denial. It's like you don't even want to look at it. It's kind of like you don't want to admit that you have any pettiness, any anger. You don't want to admit that you have any lust. That's repression. You're hiding it from yourself. It's like an ostrich putting its head in the sand. You don't want to even admit it. You don't want to consider it. You want to ignore it. I have no problems. I don't have an addiction. I don't have an addiction. I don't have a problem. That's not me. This happens a lot. You know, like, I think probably everybody has a certain degree of repression. Read Carl Jung and Friedrich Nietzsche, the best psychoanalysts really of all time. Nietzsche says that man, to know himself, he's like an impenetrable fortress. It's almost, well, I shouldn't say it's almost impossible, but it's very, very difficult for man to have insight and self-knowledge. In order for this to happen, he has to have so much analysis from the outside to help him understand himself. It's like you can't look at yourself except for with a mirror. It's almost impossible to look at yourself. Self-reflection is a skill. It takes so much work to understand what's going on. And why are we talking about this? Because what's going on inside you is either medicine or poison. So I realized it's so important to feel love. It's so important to feel goodwill. It's so important to feel whole. It's so important to feel fun. It's so important to feel playful and light, and not judge yourself and not judge others. And a lot of times you just feel like you gotta let go of a lot of stuff to even be able to do it. So finding ways to release all this is super duper important. You know, this is a very broad topic, and you know, I really hope that it's relatable. I really hope that you're relating, because, you know, there's nothing shameful to admit that you have problems with your family, or with your friends, or with your marriage, or with your relationship, or with your own relationship to yourself, or to feel lost spiritually. There's nothing shameful to admitting that. Actually, most people feel like this. And if you're not willing to admit that that's how you feel, at least some of the time, I'd say that unless if you're some kind of spiritual giant, that you're probably repressing. Life is a constant process of maturing in all of those areas. So to act like you don't have issues or problems or hang-ups or baggage is actually just insecurity, and it's repression. You're lying to yourself, and other people can see right through it. You're only lying to yourself. You know, pride is such a insidious thing. A lot of the time it would prevent me from even seeing what's happening. So, you know, moving forward, anyway, I don't want to preach about this. I just want to share what I've been thinking about, and really just talking to myself about it. Really just wanted to open up about how I feel about my family. You know, I didn't tell you all about my mom and my brother. Maybe I can tell you about that a little bit before I wrap up. So I was always judgmental of my brother growing up, and he felt that. And so I realized that recently, and I just like slapped myself around. I said, dude, fuck you. Like, why are you so judgmental of him? Like, stop that shit. And it's really helped us. It's really helped me. Like, I like seeing the good in him now, because growing up, he got into like smoking weed in high school, and I was super straight edge and Christian. And we had kind of like a falling out, because he would tell me that like he doesn't believe in God, and he would smoke cigarettes, and I just saw him as different, right? So we had this falling out, and I always kind of like had my nose up in the air a little bit, because I thought that I was like doing better than him for some reason, in like career or responsibility, and that's so toxic. And for years it was like that, and just always kind of looking down on him. It's like, it's so shitty to say, it's so shitty to admit that, but hell, that's just how I was. And I kind of didn't even really realize I was doing it that much. I kind of just felt like that was just the way it is, because I just felt like he always just worked at restaurants as a chef, and was making like not a lot of money, and didn't really have like a career path. And I didn't realize how much I was judging him for that, you know. But, you know, deep down he was struggling. Deep down, you know, he had breakups with some girlfriends, and they really, really hurt him. And so we don't know why people are doing what they're doing. We don't know why people make the decisions that they make. And really, in order to really help them, I realized the first thing I need to do is like acknowledge him, not judge him, and not look down on him, and not look at him through the light of all the conflicts that we had, you know. I mean, to my defense, not that I'm defending my attitude towards him, but a lot of times I would just try to talk to him over the years about these things, and he would kind of like snap at me, or like be not open to it. And that kind of made me feel like, I don't know, he's like overly defensive or overly aggressive, and who knows why that was even there, you know. Probably something in the past. You know, I was probably judgmental about him, and so he doesn't trust me, he doesn't want to talk about it to me, with me. So yeah, probably goes deep. So, you know, I've apologized to him about this. I had heart-to-hearts where I'm like, look, I really feel like our relationship isn't where I want it to be. I realize I've been judgmental. We've had a lot of like fights and conflicts. I just want to say, like, you're my brother and I love you. And I don't want to have these little things between us. I don't want to feel like there's this difference between us. And there's probably a lot more specific words that I could use and acknowledge him, you know. I'm just realizing this now. Like, I should acknowledge him about he's had a job for most of the time. He's always been nice and generous and giving. He's always gotten the best Christmas presents for people. He's always so jovial and friendly. You know, he's really good about doing that. And so I'm realizing more just that acknowledgement is healing. You know, like, acknowledging people is very healing. Speaking like words of positivity and appreciation and gratitude to them, I'm realizing that's more and more important. I'm realizing that's very healing to like a relationship and to their heart. I'm realizing more that yeah, when you're with family, it's awesome if you can feel like this healing energy, if you can feel this goodwill that everyone has. And in order to feel that, it's like you gotta remove all these like resentments and hurts, and the whole family has healing to do. You know, that's really what I'm realizing, is like our words can be healing, our intentions, our beliefs, our thoughts can be healing, and to be able to get them to that point where it really is clear and pure, you know, it takes inner work, just between you and yourself and God. But then you can bring healing to people. Like, you want to be a healer? Well, this is a great way to be a healer. You know, this is what I'm telling myself, guys. I don't want this to come off as preachy. You know, the real healing isn't just like with your fingers and the technique. The real healing is in your heart. The real medicine is from your heart to other people's heart. That's the real medicine. And you feel that. That is better than science, man. That is science. Because everybody feels that. And everybody feels the poison of conflict and strife and drama. Everybody feels that poison. And so, nuanced topics, but, you know, I'm just realizing how to be a better brother, you know, what to say, how to act. Like, me and my mom had conflict too. You know, just little things over the years. I won't go into deep detail, but just broadly as an overview. Just realizing, you know, I can have goodwill towards my family. I can have, I can make my own relationship on the inside better towards them. Not that I'm trying to fix anything on the outside. I've tried that so much. You can't necessarily change or fix people. You can't change the externalities, but you can balance how much time you spend with them, and you can balance how you feel, and you can use your words when you are with them to bring healing. Things like that can happen, okay? It's tricky because it's not like it's impossible. It's not like it's impossible to change people. Love can change people, but you can't depend on it. You can't think that you're gonna change them with your love. No, you gotta just let God move, let love move, and see what happens. You can't depend on it. You can't be needy or results oriented with these things. You gotta just do it for you. You gotta just do it because you want to feel the internal love medicine, and if possible, they can receive it. It's not up to you if they can receive it. It's not up to you if they can change for the better. It's not up to you if they can let go and forgive you. It's not up to you if they let go of their bitterness, their resentment, their holding a record of wrongs. You can't decide that. All you can do is maintain your inner goodness for you. And if you really are aligned, amazing things can happen. I've seen it. Speaking your truth in love, maintaining that inner peace in your heart, maintaining that genuine goodwill, really understanding the crevices of your heart, not bullshitting yourself, not spiritually bypassing or repressing, not putting on the spiritual ego, and not noticing that you actually have secret hurts and pains still. You know, doing that deep introspection work so that you can heal, right? So that you can heal, so that you can grow, so that you can go beyond these things. So a question might come up where you can say, well, how do I know if I'm like over it? How do I know if I'm suppressing? How can I know if secretly I have like little hurts and pains or resentments or grudges? I don't know if I do. Well, that's an interesting question. One thing you can do is talk about it and see how you feel as you talk about it. If you're talking about it and you feel emotions or you feel stuck energy in your lungs, in your vocal cords, if your voice cracks, if you feel a little bit of discomfort, then you have some processing still to do. Kind of like right now, when I'm talking about this, there's a certain amount of tension, there's a certain amount of release still happening. I'm still working it out. My subconscious mind is telling me, this is good. This is like good. Like you're processing, you're healing, you're working things out. You're giving the proper attention to this. You're not just like burying your head in the sand. You're not just like neglecting this. You're meditating on it. You're unburying and getting insights and revelations and wisdom about what to do with like your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. You're getting little detailed insights about how much time to spend, what to say when you are with them, how to approach the relationship. And it's changing things inside me. I feel it as I'm even just talking about it, meditating on it. So you can do journaling and write about it. You can do a video journal and you watch it back and see how you look, see how you feel. Analyze yourself. When you talk about the specific things that they said or did to you, see how you feel. When you talk about them, video yourself and look at the micro nuances of your body language. Because when you're talking about someone that you really are good with, you'll see the subconscious expressions. You'll feel good about it. But when you're talking about somebody that you have a little bit of conflict or unresolved issues, you'll see it. And so talk about the details. Talk about as if you're interviewing yourself. Like I can pretend right now. Like, how do you feel about your mom? And I would be like, well, my mom, well, first of all, she's healthy right now. And our relationship is very shallow. And it's not like we have any direct tension or resentment right now. I guess we're doing pretty average, but I just wish that me and my mom had like a more intimate relationship in terms of like, I wish that she was more mature. I wish that she was able to be more like of a mom. I feel like, yeah, I honestly feel like I'm more mature than her. I feel like she's very shallow emotionally, and but I do have goodwill towards her. I used to be really angry towards her about like, I would just sense that she had bad energy towards me. Like she thought I was a burden or something. She never was able to like express it or yeah, it was just a weird vibe. It was just a weird attitude. And it expressed itself in like frustration and fights sometimes. So anyways, I'm not gonna go on, but that was an example. That's how you would do it. And then you rewatch it as you're saying it. You see it, if you have any stuck feelings about it, how you feel after thinking about it. Even just thinking about the person, it'll tell you if you have any resentments or grudges. You can do that with your friends, you can do that with your family, and it'll reveal to you, you know, just one-on-one, just with yourself, you know, no bullshit, no masks. It's not like you're talking to them and you're trying to act like, no, we're fine, like I don't have any resentments towards you. No bullshit. You're just with you. Don't bullshit yourself. Really see how you feel. Examine how you feel as you talk about them. And you'll start to feel a certain level of clarity and release. That's why talk therapy can be really, really insightful and interesting. If you really trust your therapist and he can give you important, helpful feedback, then that could be really, really helpful. And then moving forward, prayer and meditation on what you want is very powerful. Some people call this like subconscious mind manipulation or manifestation. You can start imagining how you want to be towards them. You can start imagining how you want the relationship to be. You just go into your heart and you imagine goodness. You can imagine conversations with you and the person. You can imagine kindness between you and the person. You can imagine, Neville Goddard called this the golden key, the secret key, where if you want to heal a relationship, what you do is you calm yourself down. You go into the theater of your mind, you start meditating, and you use visualization meditation to create this fantasy in your heart, in your mind, about exactly what you want to happen, about the redemption, about the love, about the forgiveness, the conversation that you want to have, apologizing, them apologizing to you, you apologizing to them, believing that it's possible. That's healing for you. This is therapy for you. Whether or not it happens on the outside, that's not up to you. What happens on the inside of you, that should be up to you. Okay? So I do this. I go into the theater of my mind after I get relaxed. I use the Silva method meditation. And I'll just imagine saying sorry. I'll imagine them saying sorry back. I'll imagine us hugging. I'll imagine them succeeding. I'll imagine them believing in me. All the beautiful things that you wish it was, just feel it. That's a prayer. That's your meditation. That's so healing. That'll purge out so much negativity and toxins from you. That'll be medicine to you. That'll be medicine to your heart. A lot of times you'll cry. It'll be so beautiful. You'll release pain. You'll release hatred, resentment, and negativity. And you'll feel a difference inside yourself when you're around that person. It's a very interesting thing, how we impact each other. You know, you look at what the yogis say, that your thoughts are transmitted and people instantly get influenced by them. This is the whole idea of prayer. This is the whole idea of how we're all connected, as cliche as that sounds. I think everybody understands how our thoughts influence our relationships, even from a distance. I really know that. I really believe that. I really feel that. And so, let alone when you start mixing that with your emotion, you can really change your subconscious mind towards people. And when you believe in people, it changes them. Believe it. When you believe in people, it changes them. When you believe in the good in people, it changes them. When you believe in the bad in people, it changes them. One of the stories that my dad was telling us yesterday was that he had a brother, and my dad's aunts, they would gang up on his brother, and they'd always tell him, "You're never going to become anything in life." And guess what happened? He just failed in life in so many ways, you know. Was handicapped, got addicted to drugs, smoked, drank, didn't have a fulfilling marriage or relationship, and really carried on a legacy of just pain. So what people say about you and believe about you, it matters, and vice versa. What you say and believe about other people matters. And so paying attention to it, changing it, you know, I'm focusing on that. I'm focusing on my internal life, my heart is what the Bible calls it. I'm focusing on bringing more and more goodness and virtue and belief and love and forgiveness. And I'll keep you guys updated, but I already feel that healing is happening inside me. You know, remember, you do it for you. Don't do it with this clingy idea that you're going to change the outside or change people. Can't change people. You gotta just see if it changes them. I guess that's a better way to say it. You see if it changes them, but you just change yourself. You know, it's a miracle if you can change yourself, right? So change yourself and see how it changes other people around you. So just focus on you, right? So yeah, just want to give you guys that update, let you guys see what's going on, share that story, because you know, whether or not you're trying to heal from fatigue or some kind of physical ailment, everyone on earth is trying to heal. Everyone on earth has wounds that they're trying to heal, that they don't know how to heal, that are still open. And how to heal that will help you grow. It's like, until you heal that wound, until you understand how to mature past all of these hurts and pains, all these traumas, until we learn how to heal and grow past these things, it's gonna be a stumbling stone. It's gonna be a block, and it's gonna be a blind spot that keeps you from abundance, that keeps you from health and healing. And so healing the body is important, but healing your heart is even more important. And a lot of the times you can do them both at the same time. In fact, you have to. There's no other way. You have to do them both at the same time. In a lot of ways, your body and your brain are the same thing. As you heal your body, you get energy and insight to be able to heal your brain. A lot of times, if you're toxic in your body, then you will be toxic in your mind, your emotions, your relationships. So you have to honor all of them equally, okay? Don't draw lines of arbitrary hierarchies and say, I'm only gonna focus on this. No. Remember, healing is holistic. That means you do an equally weighted approach to every single part of you. You know, no one part is more or less important. Holistic means holism. You treat the whole as a whole. You don't isolate and say, I'm just going to use only meditation. No. It's a piece. Remember the story of the 4 yogis. It's only when the 4 yogis get together that they get enough energy to actually see God. It's like a piece of the puzzle. It's like a car. If you take out the engine, it doesn't work. Take out the transmission, nothing works. So you have to have every single piece. That's why the yoga system is my favorite, because it includes everything to help you understand how to heal yourself as a person from every aspect, not just physically, but mentally, energetically, and practically how you live your life. They call the last one karma. How you think, how you act, your social interactions, your thoughts, your beliefs. It's karma. It's all karma. Right? So yoga, remember, it's not just stretching. It's not just spaghetti Lululemon. It's the holistic approach of how to heal yourself as a person. And that's what saved me. And it's made me really introspective, and just gave me all the tools that I needed to really understand, how to actually heal. It's a process. So it takes time, and I'm giving myself time, but even just that is just wonderful. Video blogging with you guys, going into nature, walking barefoot, being real and authentic, and breathing in this fresh air, being with the trees, forest bathing. Japanese call that ikigai, pretty sure that's what they call it. Is you're breathing in all the medicine of the trees and nature, and damn, it feels good. So thanks for being with me, guys. Thanks for hearing me out. It's definitely a journey navigating relationships. A lot has probably happened with everybody in terms of fights and maybe certain things that you've buried and covered up and swept under the rug. And maybe it's time for you to take action. Maybe it's time for you to distance yourself and be patient and just pray. Maybe it's time for you to have a conversation with them. Everyone's different, so you're gonna have to really understand how this relates to you. You're gonna really have to understand how to extract the wisdom and how to act moving forward, because everybody's going to have a different experience and everybody's going to have a different action path to take, right? So yeah, I'll leave you guys here. Remember, you can click below and you can get a free guide of how to start cleansing and detoxing. I want to bless everybody with the very low-hanging fruit. The easiest thing to grab is how to start clearing your physical body so that you can start healing on every single dimension. It's like if you're struggling, really, start with your physical body. Start by doing a cleanse. Get that energy and use that energy moving forward to think better, to strategize, to read, to be able to have better emotion when you're with people. That's why I want to give everybody the 7-day cleanse challenge. I want to challenge you to take these 7 days and really just learn the basics about how to start cleansing your system, re-energizing your system, getting the toxins out of your system. It's as easy as just taking herbs in the morning and at night, learning one new recipe. I even have like juices in there, beautiful juices that you can make. Have as one of your meals. You're gonna feel so clear and so abundant. It's such a amazing thing. Like today, intermittent fasting. So it teaches you a little bit about intermittent fasting. It's so easy. You just skip breakfast, you eat 2 meals a day, and one of my meals is gonna be fruit. You know, just have some watermelon, just have some mangoes. It keeps you clear, it helps your body heal, okay? So really basic stuff in that 7-day cleanse challenge. And on the 7th day, I tell you the secret oil that you can take to cleanse everything. So 6 days, you're just taking out all those toxins, getting it ready to be evacuated, purging, and then day 7, poof, you completely just cleanse everything with a mild laxative, but it's a natural laxative. So I take this from the yogi sciences. I take this from Ayurveda, the yogi science of healing. And this is Dr. Vasant Lad's healing protocol. And so I've done it multiple times in my life, and it always gets me feeling light and free and energized and creative and happier. Strengthens my digestion. So I'm actually doing it again. It's actually my day 2. So, you know, I do it every couple months. It's important. So with that, love you very much. Have a beautiful, blessed day full of clarity and healing and growing as a healer. And I really hope that you can get out and enjoy the day like I am right now. I'm gonna do a little bit more yoga, and I'll see you in the next video, okay? Have a great day.